Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike from Job Ready English here to help you get hired. Graduate season is coming. Graduate season being between sort of September to November, which is a really busy time to be applying for jobs. It's a time when you really want to be on top of vacancies and what's going on. I wanted to go through basically 5 of my favorite websites for finding graduate roles. Some of you will know these websites, some of you won't, particularly if you're an international student and you're here in the UK for the first time. You may never have heard of these, and also these are sites that I've used basically throughout the years that I found to be really useful and helpful, and I'm going to explain why. These sites are also useful because you can, for some of them, you can sign up for alerts. You can basically have consistent pipeline of vacancies coming through which are specific to you, and it's really important to be on top of the ball when it comes to graduate vacancies because they open really quickly, they fill really quickly, and then by the time you get to it they close. So what you always want to bear in mind, the most important thing, is that you want to apply as soon as they open. The best time to go to the store to get something that's going to sell out is going to be at the start of the day, and it's exactly the same for jobs. So let's kick it off. I'm going to start off with Target Jobs, which has long been my favorite for many years. It's owned by GTI Futures, which is a massive company. They've recently updated their site. One thing that I quite like about it is that it's really clean, it's easy to look at. Spotlight is basically for roles that have been advertised for. The one thing that's changed that makes me a little bit sad is that you used to be able to filter for work permit, but as is usually the case, companies don't necessarily know whether they can sponsor or not for that particular role. But this is quite nice. You'll see here that they've got like 278 graduate schemes. There's stuff for placements, internships. You can also organise by sector as well. That's very nice. And what I like about Target Jobs is there's a really good all-in-one. If you combine that with prospects, it's good to find out about the role, the skills, everything that's required, related companies. It's a great all-in-one website. Another oldie but a goodie is Milkground. So Milkground's been around for many years, specifically targeted at graduates. This is a nice place to start, which is the best companies to work for. I'll make sure I put a link in the description below to all of these websites, as well as a link in the description below for our application guide, so you can get started with writing out a list of company and links for all of that stuff, so that you're organized when it comes to you getting the time to send out those applications. One thing you want to think about is you want to use these sites a couple of times. You don't want to be using them every single day. It becomes a real waste of time. And using these sites, you're going to be able to know, like, when are these companies opening, when are they closing. You want to set aside like an afternoon to get your application guide done, and then that's something that you can consistently return to. Then all you need to do is check your emails when they come through, say once a week, or if you set an alert, so that you can be there and ready when new schemes open. So this is nice from Milkground. They've got the best companies to work for by industry from Times Top 100 companies, which is something that we've spoken about before in terms of the best opportunities come from the biggest companies. The only thing I don't particularly like about Milkground is it's really big, in the sense that it's quite difficult to navigate. Like for example here, they tend to navigate by degree. This can be reasonably difficult to kind of wrap your head around because there just seems to be so much choice. You always want to make sure that you're going through a direct employer, particularly if you're an international student. I often get asked, oh, I'm an international student, and I'm being contacted by recruitment consultants, should I speak to them? In the majority of cases, I'd say it's probably a waste of time, mainly because recruitment consultants aren't particularly bothered about whether you need a work permit or not. It's one thing if you're going for the graduate route, but it's another thing if you're going for an actual tier 2 or work sponsored job. So yeah, this is nice. It's a good complement for me to Target Jobs. Probably my favorite site at the moment for both international, well, I'd say for both international and home students, but just in terms of general information organisation, is Bright Network. Bright Network are fantastic. They've been around for a couple of years. I remember when they first hit the scene, and just the way that they organise this information is so helpful. Some of this you will have to apply through Bright Network, some of it you'll be able to apply from outside. What I really like about it is just that it's ordered by date, which is actually what is most useful and most relevant. So you'll go here and you'll see when is the closing date. This is probably something that you want to use as a reference point for deadlines. Obviously we don't want to apply by the deadline, we want to apply way before then. But really like Bright Network. I'm going to pop that link into the description below. That's super useful. If you're an international student and you're watching this and like, do they sponsor, do they not sponsor, remember you can always use sponsortier2.com. so it's a free web application from Job Ready English where you can easily, say for example we're looking here and we can find innovative technology. So you might think, well, does this company sponsor? Just take it, copy and paste this into here, and you'll see, yeah, they do. Sweet. And you can even then just go, and there's 3 different ones, so you can click on the Google button and go and think, well, is this the company that I want to work for? So that's a really cool and nice thing to have. Finally, specifically for international students rather than home students, our favorite site is Student Circus. So Student Circus are brilliant. They've been around for a couple of years. They continue to innovate with their technology platform. They've just recently opened up their services in Germany. So that's pretty cool. If you go here, now you can only see the first page, but these are all verified roles. So what that means is that their team has taken the time to check that you can and will get sponsored for these roles, which gives you a massive competitive advantage. A lot of times, particularly for international students, the biggest pain is not finding jobs as such, it's finding jobs that can sponsor and that you're sure that can sponsor, because filling out application forms, cover letters, particularly if English isn't your first language, can be quite painful and quite a long process initially. So this is a really great place to keep coming back to, something that you can return to on a weekly basis. You can even see how many times it's been viewed, which jobs are particularly in high demand, so you could sort by most viewed, which I always think is pretty cool. So no surprise there, McKinsey coming top. Bearing in mind some of these may also be quite old as well, so that's a great place to start. Those are 5 of my favorite websites for finding graduate jobs, whether you be an international student, home student, or anything else. Let us know any other websites that you really like. Drop it down in the comments below. We're going to put the link to all those sites, as well as a link to a free application guide that you can download in the description below. Let us know other videos that we can do, and I hope that this was helpful. Bye.